to another episode of Pinal's People. Our guest today is Andy Salazar, who has been a highly proactive member of the Cascaran community for years. Andy is the founder of Caring Hands of Pinal County, and over the years has also helped to organize a variety of charitable events and initiatives throughout the community, such as backpack and school supply drives, toy drives, and much more. Andy, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you for having me.
To get started today, one of the things we always ask everybody who comes on the show is to share a little bit about your story and how you got to do what it is you're doing.
Oh wow, that's a. Let's just say that I wasn't always a good kid growing up and stuff like that. So as the years went on, of course, we get into some stuff that we don't want to do, and then maybe it was 24 years ago, maybe 23 years ago. It's around that time that me and my wife, we had all these extra bags just laying around, and it was during Christmas time. I'm like, why don't we make some bags for our friends' kids? You know what I mean? Just bring some joy to some kids. So we put together like these bags that had fruit, some crayons, just little toys in them. So we went out and delivered them. And I told my wife, I'm like, man, that feeling we got from helping somebody and just seeing the smile on these kids' faces, because you got to think, that might have been the only thing they're going to get for Christmas. So I think right after that, the following year, we did our first annual toy drive. We took Santa out. We took toys. We adopted 5 kids. We had a trailer. We were singing music, everything. And it just, after that, it became a way of life, the way of living, just to give back to the community.
That's incredible. And can you share a little bit about what made you want to start Caring Hands of Pinal County?
Well, at that time, I was working just right up the road. It was called the Living Center, but now it's TLCR. We were working with people coming, with addictions, just coming out of hospitals, and we were trying to teach our members how to give back to the community, because they were the ones that were always looking for the help, needing a food box or just a little bit of extra help. And so we were there, and we started a little program there where we would make sandwiches and chips, and just we put like bags together for the homeless. And so we were doing it and doing it, and they would tell me, man, it's hard to get a food box at a food bank because you can only go once every 3 months. So I started thinking, I said, you know what? We need to come up with a food bank where you can go anytime, whenever. You don't need to wait 3 months, 6 months. So that's how Caring Hands came about.
That's incredible. And what would you say when you think about the work you've done with that organization over the years, and then even just as I mentioned, the other initiatives that you've done to just help people in the community? What would you say has been the biggest drive or motivator for you?
I think just when you're out in the community and you think that people don't remember you, but you could be at Walmart, you could be at Fry's, you can be at Ricardo's, or just somewhere eating, or just in general in the community, and people come up and shake your hand and say, thank you so much. Um, I've had kids come up to me, you giving me a backpack, or you blessed us with Christmas gifts, or that food box you gave me really helped me get through, for the food for my family, or just those little things keeps pushing me to do more and more. Like, okay, say for example, I adopted 30 families for Christmas. Okay, next year I want to do 35. I want to do 40. That just keeps pushing us to grow and grow. And I tell people, a lot of people, there's so many different organizations popping up now, and it's great because there's more to help instead of just one individual, because people are like, man, it's probably a lot on your plate. I say it can be sometimes get to be a burden, not a burden, but just a lot of stress. Okay, how am I going to help this person? How am I going to come up with this to help them?
Yeah, it's overwhelming.
But being the fact there's more organizations coming out and helping, man, it's a blessing for our communities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And when you think about, well, I actually have a couple questions here for you about this, and they're kind of it's one question, but it's sort of two pronged.
Okay.
Which is, when you think about your program, like with Caring Hands, what do you wish more people understood about
it? I think to understand is that a lot of people think that the funding comes from the state and stuff, but a lot of the funding for the small food banks like Caring Hands, a lot of it's donations that come from the communities. So being the fact we're one of the smallest, not the smallest, but one of the last food banks to be established in Casa Grande, a lot of the main food banks get like the help from United Food Banks, the St. Mary's, the bigger food banks, but we get that little bit of help too, but we gotta still pay light, we still gotta pay just different stuff, you know what I mean, taxes. So a lot of that's coming out of volunteers' pockets, people that are donating. So we tell people that donations of food, monetary, will definitely help Care Hands keep growing, which it is still growing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so the second prong of my question is when, because Andy, I really love your story and I love the messaging that you have when it comes to giving back to the community. So when you think about, let me figure out how to phrase this, but what do you think about the value of giving back? What do you wish more people knew about that?
I think it's just the value of it is, like I told you earlier, just the love and appreciation. I think it's more the appreciation you get from me, that you help somebody. And I mean, you could help somebody when they're 10 years old, and then by the time they're 20 or 25, they still remember you. They still think about what you did for them. And then not only do they still remember that, they're trying to carry that on by helping somebody. It could be a family member, it could be somebody, a friend, somebody in the community. I think that's the value, is that knowing that you planted that little seed, hope, faith, encouragement, and giving. Just that little seed, I think as they keep growing and they keep seeing you, you're giving back and you're still giving back, you haven't stopped. You're still going. And that they say, okay, if Andy can do it, then we can do it. And it just keeps spreading. And I think that's the best thing that you can see and get out of that, is that, okay, this little seed you planted, by the time it gets over here, it's already a full-blown rose, beautiful, blossoming. So I think that's it's just spreading, and it's just going. It's not staying here in Casa Grande. It's going to Chandler. It's going to Coolidge. It's going to Hilo. It's going to Maricopa. It's just spreading. And I feel that that little seed is going to keep on going and going until when I'm gone, my kids are gone, my grandkids are gone. That little seed can still keep on going.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. So in your time on focusing on different community initiatives, what's one of the experiences that you've had that you think has stayed with you the longest?
Oh man, there's a lot of them. I'm trying to think. Just like you could be going, I think it's just like I said earlier with the kids, you helping them and giving back, and then they see you could be at a drive-thru at McDonald's. There was one time on Pinal at McDonald's, me and my wife and kids were going somewhere and we stopped there to get something to drink. And of course, one of the kids, you don't remember me, do you? I'm like, no, unfortunately I don't. While I was at the Boys and Girls Club, we used to work there, and you blessed us with the food box and you blessed us for Christmas. And I just wanted to say thank you. I never got a chance, to understand what giving back was and receiving and all that was about, they said. I'm like, well, you're welcome. And then, we can volunteer, and I think that's the biggest thing to me, is that when you see them and they ask, how can we help? How can we volunteer to help you continue to help others? And I'm like, man, it's a blessing.
Yeah, it comes full circle.
Full circle.
Oh, that's incredible. So if you could give one message to the greater Pinal County community about the importance of assisting others and just giving of your time and giving of your service, what would it be?
Just take that little step, because a lot of people, they're afraid. I don't think they're, I'm going to say afraid. I think they're cautious about helping, because, of course, in anything you do, there's going to be people that are going to want to take advantage of whatever you're doing. But you got to just take that step and take that leap of faith, because you never know what somebody's story is. You do not know what someone's going through that day. They can put a smile on in front of you and be like, oh, everything's okay, but not knowing that they need help with their bills, they need to put food on the table. There's just little things lead up to big things. And so I just take that leap of faith. If you see somebody or you feel somebody is hurting and you can sense that, help them. Take that leap of faith, and just, you never know, that smile, whatever you do for that person, it's going to change their whole world.
Yeah. And Andy, I love the fact that you brought up you never know what somebody's story is. I would love if you could speak to a little bit, what's one thing you wish more people knew about your story?
Oh, I think basically a lot of people know my story because just I'm real upfront about it. I got into trouble when I was younger. Doing a course, as you're a younger kid, you think making that fast money is easy money, but it's definitely not. You make that little easy money, and then before you know it, you're incarcerated. Um, People are looking at you different. It's just a lot of things come with that, but you got to remember, you just got to keep pushing forward. Just keep pushing forward, and man, there's like I said, a lot of people know my story. I was incarcerated. I learned what I had to do, and that's why I think I'm very honest about what I talk about. So when I started all this, of course, and I'm real religious, as you can tell. I'm a Catholic. I felt that I needed to do one thing that was good to get me into heaven. So I think that's where giving out these bags for Christmas was. Is like, okay, if I do something good, then maybe that one little thing I can get into heaven.
Mm-hmm.
But it just changed my whole life.
Yeah.
Just giving back and just feeling the love from these kids and just seeing their faces, like, and it was just a little bag with fruits and crayons and just little toys. I'm like, they got happy for that. What if we gave them a real big Christmas?
Wow.
And that was it.
That's
And
incredible.
23 years this year for Christmas, and then our back to school was 14 years that just passed.
Wow.
So next year for our 15th for back to school, we're gonna do something big.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I got something in the works for that. So
You'll have to get those posted.
yes.
But so this idea, I love it because it's like this idea of just one action sort of turned everything around for you. And so, when you think about young adults who might be in a similar situation as you were when you were, younger, what advice would you give them when it comes to what can they do if they're in a situation where they want to turn things around, they want to have their moment of, whether it be redemption or just kind of have their moment of kind of steering the ship back around. What advice would you give them?
The advice I'd give is because sometimes we get those ideas because we see somebody else doing it. We're like, okay, we start thinking about what I wonder if I did it. Wonder how could I do it, or if I could do it. Do it, because you just never know where it's going to lead you. If we push those ideas away or we don't follow through with them, then we would never know. And it just like I said, it was just a leap of faith. I said, you know what? I need to do one thing to get into heaven. Did those bags, it was just stuff that was laying around, and knocked it out. And it's just like it's a way of living now. It's like if I see somebody, I gotta give them some money. Or if there's a car behind me, I'm gonna pay for their meal. Just go with your heart. If your heart's telling you I need to start an organization, or I need to feed the homeless, or I need to just do it, because you just never know where it's gonna lead to.
Yeah, that's beautiful. All right, I have one last question for you,
Okay.
and this is also a question we've made our mission to
Okay.
ask everybody on our show, which is many, many years from now. When people think back on your life and your legacy, what do you hope they take away from your story?
Faith. That I had faith to start something. Probably when others didn't want to maybe join in on it, because there's sometimes that you feel like when you start something, it's like you gotta have that faith to do it, because people, they want to help, and then they're, like I said, cautious. So just have faith. Just faith, I guess, because I have faith in everything I do, and it's about just taking that, faith to do it. Blessings. It's just faith. I want people. I don't want. And I tell people I don't like being recognized. I don't money, none of that. It's just I think my thing is faith. Faith drives me. Faith gets me through the days. Faith. It's all about faith. And so when they look in the years and like, man, I need faith.
That's beautiful. Andy Salazar, thank you so
Thank you so
much.
much. Thank you. Appreciate it.